Hello everyone. Okay, so here it is. I am finally going to dive into trying to use some of my Spectrum Sherbet from 49 in Market. As I stated in my last video, I have a really hard time using this collection because it's just so pretty that I don't want to do anything to it. I feel like I have to use it just as is, and yes, you can. But today I am going to challenge myself to not use this exactly just as one piece. I am going to cut into it. I am going to try to piece together something. So bear with me as I challenge myself to actually use this beautiful collection here. As you can see, I have a lot of it. I found this cute little picture of my little girl when she was very, very young. I don't have it written. This is 08, so she's a year old in this picture. She is now just about to turn 15, so yes, this is an oldie, but I saw these cute colors that she was wearing and I thought that it matched perfectly with the strawberry lemonade part of this collection, which I have quite a bit of. So I'm going to be scrapping this picture of my daughter. I picked out a few papers from 49 in Market to use. The first one that I'm going to use is called Brumbleberry. It's from the Classics Spectrum Sherbet collection, and it's got all these pretty little like faded butterflies and flowers in these pinky tones, and then there's this really vibrant green, which I really like too. All these nice words here. I think what I'm going to do with this paper is that I am going to fussy cut out the flowers and all of those good things. I know, can you believe it? I'm gonna actually fussy cut it out. And then the back has these really, really pretty, this ombre effect with the yellow to orange to pink. And I think I want to use some of this either for matting a photo or for layering, because I also want to use, I also want to participate in the 21st, I think it was the 21st day of Scraptember, which was tearing paper. So I want to use some of this to kind of do that torn paper. So we'll see if that works out. This is my plan. If it doesn't end up working out, it doesn't end up working out, but that's what I'm looking at right now. So I want to use the front and back of this lovely sheet here. And for matting the background, I would like to use this sheet here. This is from Solids and the color is Watermelon. And I'm thinking of using this here because I'm going to base everything on this white piece of cardstock. And so I'm going to mat it about like that. And then I'm going to have these cutouts to use on the page. Sounds good, right? That's kind of what my plan is right now. We'll see how well it works out. For embellishments, I have almost everything that you could get for the Strawberry Lemonade collection. I have the acetate leaves. I have the wishing bubbles, the tag set, the ephemera bits, the frames, the chipboard set, the rub-on transfer set, and also the laser cutouts. I forgot to pull out, but I also have the Strawberry Lemonade rub-on transfer sheet too. So you guys, like I said, I have pretty much this whole collection, at least in the Strawberry Lemonade, and I just ordered a few of the Tidal Wave. Shh, don't tell anyone. So that I can do more of the blue. So this is what I have to work with today. Like I said, I have a ton of it, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. The first thing I want to do is I am going to put some gesso on this white sheet here because I do have some mixed media that I might like to do here. I have 3 different colors of shimmers that I'm thinking about using. The first one is She Packs a Punch, and it's this lovely like kind of medium pink color. Then I have Red Necking, which is a creamies, and this one's a darker red, and I think it goes really nicely with these reddish flowers here. And then I have the really, really soft Pinkaboo. And I don't really know for sure what I'm going to do with these yet, but I want to have this paper prepped just in case. And I also have a couple of Nouveau that I may add at some point. I'm kind of thinking through what I want to do. I'm not sure yet. I really love these. They're really pretty, and I think they would go really nicely with these papers. I have the Crystal Drops Metallic Raspberry Pink, and I have the Crystal Drops Metallic Bottle Green as well. So we will see what I do and if I use all of these, but first let me go get this prepped and matted, and I will come back and show you what we're doing from there. All right, see you in a minute. Okay, now that I've gone ahead and gessoed the white cardstock, I'm going to just roughly cut out these flowers at first, trying to save as much of the background as I can. There we go. I've got both sections of flowers cut out, and now I'm just going to go ahead and fussy cut around. I'm not going to make you watch all of this because it did take me quite a bit of time, but I'm just getting as close as I can to the petals of the flowers just to give them some definition when they sit on the page. Okay, so I've got the gessoed white cardstock attached to the mat, yes, and I've gone ahead and I have ripped some strips of the back side of the flower paper. Remember, I said I also wanted to do a little something for the 21st day of Scraptember, which was actually yesterday, but that's okay. And it had paper tearing in it. So I decided I wanted to do just a little section of torn paper and get a little bit of that rainbow effect that was on the back of that flowered sheet. So I tore some pieces and kind of layered them up in rainbow pattern there, and I'm going to end up sticking them down. I wasn't quite sure if I was going to like it or not, but I do like the effect of it at the end. It's kind of given me some more of those colors so that when I get into the embellishments, I can, put in some yellows and oranges as well, and not just the pink. She does have yellows and orange in her outfit, so I could have technically brought it in anyway, but I did want a little bit in the papers as well. Plus that paper is just so pretty. I just wanted to kind of showcase it there. So there's where I'm going to put the torn papers up there on that top right hand corner, and then the part of the flowered paper that was in the bottom right hand corner, I'm still going to put there. I have just cut it out of the paper. And then I'm going to use the section right there that I'm putting in that used to be on the left-hand side. I'm going to use it to kind of cradle the photo. So all of the really heavy embellishments are going to be right there on that right-hand side, which is a little bit different for me. Having it on the right-hand side feels a little bit strange. I usually tend to go to the left-hand side. So that was kind of fun, just making it a little bit different. So here I'm just kind of marking where my papers and my embellishments are going to lay so that I can do a little bit of mixed media in the back. You know how I am when it comes to my shimmers. I like to get that shiny glitteriness in the background, even if it's just peaks of it here and there. I do enjoy putting in some mixed media. So like I said, I had already used some clear gesso on the background of the white paper. So unfortunately there were a few areas where I didn't get gesso, and so when I do my mixed media, there is an area up on top that kind of irritates me because it is darker than the rest because it did not have gesso. But oh well, we're just going to call it a happy little accident like Bob Ross always said. So I'm just going to brush it off here. So I am going to just use the packaging technique. I was trying to get kind of like more of a marbled effect here, but I don't really do that good of a job with it. So it doesn't really end up doing that this way, how I was hoping it would do it. But I do come back and kind of mix those colors a little bit differently later. So as you can see, it just starts to, kind of make a blob of the same color, which is fine. I do like the color that came out. That little spot I was trying to dab up there, yeah, that's that area where there happened to not be any gesso, so I couldn't just dab up that spot. So it kind of irritates me, and I try to fix it later and make it look like it was intentional, and I guess it does, but I still just don't really love that area. But that's okay. We don't have to love every single little tiny thing about every page that we make. So, you know, live and learn, I guess. So at this point, I'm just trying to spread around that mixed media on the background. Like I said, I didn't get as much of the marbled effect as I wanted to with the different colors. So I'm going in right now with a little bit of that darker red, which I believe was called red necking. And I'm just trying to swirl that in just so I can get some different shades. I don't know why I bother, because by the time I get done, I cover up almost all of the mixed media anyway. There's just a little bit peeking out, but you know, it makes me feel better to have the background look the way that I want it before I start going into everything. And then, you know, what I cover up, I cover up. So I added a little bit more, like I said, of that darker reddish pink color. It's a little more red, but it dries like a rose pink, I want to say, like a darker rose pink. And so now I'm going to go in with kind of the medium shade of pink and do the same thing. Just kind of darken the colors there a bit and just blend them a little more in different areas that were not blending as well as I had hoped they would. I don't like to keep adding water. I see other scrapbookers, you know, they'll just kind of spray it with water. But I don't know if it's just the weight of cardstock I have, but it seems to just make a big wet spot on my paper. And I don't enjoy that. So, you know, I try not to spray the paper directly with water or with any color unless I'm using like a really thick type of cardstock. I'm going in with the really light pink now. I love this pink. It's called Pinkaboo. And it's just the prettiest, sweetest, softest pink. Like you can barely even see it except for just like some shimmer in the background when you use just this color and not mixed in with other pinks. And it's just so sweet. I love it for little girl layouts especially. It's very, very sweet and soft. So I've gotten all of the colors kind of marbled in. I'm just dabbing up a bit of that really dark wet spots so that I can dry it a bit with my heat tool after I get done kind of distributing it the way that I want it to be. Before I go ahead and dry it, I'm going to do some splatters. So this is the medium pink that I did here. I do not do splatters with the dark pink. I just didn't want that much of that reddish color, and they tend to be a little more concentrated when you do the splatters. But then when I use the lighter pink, I go really heavy over the big area of paint in the background because I wanted that little bit of a, I don't know if a molted effect is the right word, but it's just like, it has the same effect as if you like put white acrylic paint on there. It just kind of starts to spread the color and marble it all up, and I just think it has a really cool effect, and it tampers down like the really, really dark areas as well. I really like that, and I was kind of surprised it did it with just that light pink, but I'm really happy with it, the way it turned out. See there, you can see it's kind of just like, you can see kind of the spots of the light pink throughout, and I just think it turned out really cute. And notice it dries a lot lighter. For this layout, I didn't want to go over it anymore to make it any darker. I just wanted it kind of subtle in the background there. So I'm happy with that. I know that you can go out over it again or a few more times if you want your colors to be more vibrant. You can just keep going over it, wetting it down. That's the nice thing about the gesso, is you can continue to add layer upon layer, and it'll kind of still sit up on top of your paper there. So I'm going to go ahead and just add these elements on with the mixed media in the background. Like I said, you're not going to be able to see that much of it. The most you're going to be able to see is up there on the top, which is where I said I don't really like it because of the fact that there wasn't gesso up there on the top. So it took a little darker than I wanted it to, but it's okay. You know, I'll live with it. But I'm going to go ahead and matte my photo a few times. I'm going to use this one that I'm matting it on now is the pink that I used for the matte of the whole layout. So it's the pink that surrounds the white portion of the paper. And so I'm going to do one quick little layer there. And then I'm going to go ahead and do a pretty rough scuff here on the edge. Y'all know how I like that. I like things to be really distressed when I distress them. So I went ahead and gave it a really rough scuff. I do want to use the back side of this paper also, but first I decided I wanted like either a dark red or I came across this white. And this is one of the frames from the chipboard frame kit. So I decided to use the white frame, and I'm going to go ahead and stick that down. It was kind of painstaking trying to get the tape on there. Maybe I should have used some wet adhesive, but I wanted it to tack down quicker because I do have to go off camera in a second and remove all of the adhesive that was kind of hanging over where you could see stuff. And then I'm going to trim down the bottom and round off the edges just a little bit. I do that off camera just because it took me a second to get it done. And then I'm going to go ahead and mat it on the back side of that background paper. I was trying to find exactly where I wanted it because I wanted some of that writing to be there, but it was kind of upside down. And then I decided it really didn't matter because you couldn't see it anyway. So I'm pretty happy with those mats. I think they look really cute, and I think they help to accentuate the picture just perfectly. I wanted a little bit of the colored frame as well, so I pulled out this smaller one and just kind of tucked it around the edge, and I really liked how that looked, you know, just kind of the wonky little frame over there. So I decided to keep it just like that. There's one side was kind of the pinks and oranges, and the other, just pinks, I guess it was on the one end. And then the other end was yellows and oranges. So I definitely wanted to try to get both of those in. So you'll see here that I'm going to pick up the other half of that frame as well. And I'm going to tuck that in too, so that we can get all of the colors. I'm trying to incorporate the other colors now, just kind of in these little subtle ways, so that I can pull in embellishments that are orange and yellow as well. I'm just tacking down that bottom one kind of momentarily so that it doesn't keep moving all over the place every time I remove the picture. I do that quite a lot because I'm trying to figure out exactly what I want to add to that photograph. Here we go with that second part of that frame. And I like how that looks. I like how it's kind of just spilling off from there. I think it looks really cute, and I love that it's adding in those other colors too, so that I can continue to build with the whole collection, at least the collection part that's strawberry lemonade. I have not really been able to use the blues and greens very much because all of my embellishments are the pinks and oranges. But I did just order a couple of the tidal wave, which is the green and blue. So I'm excited to get that so I can do more with those other colors. So now I'm looking at the rub-ons, and I'm kind of thinking about a little bit more mixed media-ish looking stuff here on the background using some of these rub-ons. I wasn't quite sure if it was going to work that well over top of gesso and over top of the shimmers paints, but I decided to give it a try anyway, and it does work. I had to rub on them for quite some time to make sure that they stuck. Hopefully they don't flake off anytime soon, but you know, they do tend to go on pretty nicely. I was looking at this one here with kind of the grid pattern, and I do end up using that, but I don't use it in that area. I'm going to use it up here, up by the frames a little bit more. I move it around a bit because I'm just not quite sure what I want to do with it, and I took it off for a minute, and now I'm playing around with another piece, but I don't end up using that piece. I put that one back, and I'm going to grab something different, but I wanted to show you the process. It comes with the little tool these rub-ons do. I don't do the whole thing because I had to rub on it for a while to make sure that it stuck down, but I wanted to see what you do. You just use like the little bone tool, and you just kind of check every so often. See me lift in here to see how it's coming up, and then you can lift as you go. If it seems like it's starting to stick down, then you can just kind of lift a little bit at a time, and if there's some that's not quite wanting to stick, then you can go over it again, just like what I'm doing now. Like I said, it was kind of painstaking. It took kind of a while to get it on there, but I like the effect of it. I think it looks really neat, and I think it adds just that little touch that I felt like the background was missing a little bit. But like I said, that one down there, I like it, but I decided I wanted something a little bit lighter. That those splatters seemed to be a darker pink, and I just didn't want a darker pink down there. So I'm going to go ahead and take this one out that looks like a paint splatter, a lighter pink paint splatter with like some black mesh. And I'm going to stick that down on this bottom corner. Just a little bit. By the time I get done, you can barely even see it. I should have pulled it out a little bit further so that we could see it better. But I like it. I like that it gives that little bit of texture down there on the bottom. And there, I skipped ahead on that one so you didn't have to watch all that again. So this is how everything is going to sit, all the main portions of it. Now I'm going to go ahead and I do most of this off camera, putting all of the foam on it. I'm going to go ahead and attach my picture down just because I'm done moving it now. I know where I want it to be. All of those other main pieces I tacked down off camera. I added some dimensional foam underneath the wings of the butterfly and behind the flower so that they stood up off the page just a little bit, and added some of that dimension and shadow effect to the back of the page. And so I'm just going to go ahead and, like I said, affix that photo down, and then we can go ahead and start to embellish. I skipped ahead a little bit. That little tag with the 3 butterflies I pulled out of the tag kit is the only thing I took out of there, so I just kind of skipped ahead. I'm going to show you a minute or two of me digging through this giant ephemera kit that you get when you order from 49 in Market. There's something like 96 or 95 pieces or something like that in these packs, and I went through the whole thing. So I'm not going to make you watch the whole thing, but you'll see me pull a few things out. Some of them I will use, some of them I will not. I really love those banner tags down there, but I don't end up using them, as you can see me take them off. I did find my title, which is going to be Stay Curious. And I thought that went really, really well with her photo, because this was actually an outtake photo of hers. I have one where she was smiling. That was the one I ended up using in our living room. But this one was just kind of her looking a little curious around. So I thought Stay Curious was a cute title. I like the circle bits up there. I'm only going to use the outer circle from 3 of them, and then I guess I'm using an outer and an inner plain circle from each of those, not the yellow one. I don't use a yellow one. From 3 of those circles. And then I'm using all of those little tabs up there on the top. Just, I thought that they were cute, and I liked bringing in one of each of the colors to just, you know, keep building on the 3 tones, the yellow, the pink, and the orange. So you can see me here putting the outer orange circle, and it says "Oh Happy Day" all the way around it. I thought that was a really cute sentiment. And then the pink one says "Sweet" all the way around it. And then when I put the light pink one down on the bottom, that one says "I love you." And I fiddled with this one just a little bit because I wasn't quite happy with its placement. I wanted it to be a little bit different, so you'll see me fiddle with that in a minute. I'm playing around right now with that yellow strip that says, and it says "You Make Me Smile." I do end up using that. You'll see me put it on later. And I also end up using one, it's a dark pink, and it says "You Have My Heart." I just thought that they were super, super cute, and I think they went well with the photo. So here I am, I'm tucking some of those smaller circles. I just did the yellow one for now. And at this point, I decided I was going to cut out those butterflies. Honestly, I pulled out that tag planning on cutting out the butterflies and using the butterflies on the page. I liked how they were just small. I do use the top of the tag though, because I really liked, I like that it has the eyelet, and it also has some string hanging off from it. So I thought that that added a little more of that texture that I love. And so I kept that part and just tucked it up at the top with the tabs. And I think it goes nicely. I think it works really well. You know, waste not, right? So I'm going to go ahead and finish cutting out those butterflies. Here we go. I have all 3 of them done. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and attach the title. Now it's up quite a ways. So once I figure out where I want to put it, you're going to see me add some strips of foam. Oh, right now I am, of course, distressing it because this is what I do with everything. Once I get done distressing it, I'm going to play around with the placement for a second, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add some adhesive foam strips to the back. Now, like I was saying, it's too high for just one adhesive foam strip, so I am going to have to add 2 to it. And then I'm going to have to make sure I get it right on the background page instead of on the photo, because I start to put it down and then it sticks a little bit to the photo mats and then it's not laying straight. So you'll see me here, I'm going to put it down and then you'll see me pull it back up because I don't have it quite right on the background. That's the one thing, you know, when you start getting really into putting a lot of dimension in your pages like I do, is that you tend to use quite a bit of foam and you have to fiddle quite a bit to get everything to be exactly where you want it to be and at the height you want it to be at so that it looks natural and straight. So there is that title, and now I am putting on those 2 strips that were also in the ephemera pack, the yellow that says you make me happy and the pink that says you have my heart. So I went ahead and I stuck those down, and now I am taking a few more butterflies off from the laser cut ephemera that comes with the 49 in Market Spectrum Sherbet. This is the, like I said, there's 2 different ones. There's Strawberry Lemonade, which is the pinks, yellows, and oranges, and then there's Tidal Wave, which is the greens and blues. So I don't have the greens and blues yet, but I do have the pinks and yellows and oranges. So that is the color scheme, of course, that I'm sticking with this page. So I'm just trying to figure out where I want these butterflies. I fiddle with them for quite a while. I don't remember if I leave all the footage in here of me fiddling with these butterflies, but it takes me a minute to kind of figure out what look I like. I wanted the embellishments to kind of go up into that left-hand corner so that we have a bit of a diagonal, but I didn't like it when it looked like too busy. And so I kept playing around with it because I wanted it to have a certain feel. I think when I get done, I'm pretty happy with the configuration of everything and where each butterfly is. That's not where everything's going to stay. There we go. I went off camera and I played with it a little bit more, and I pulled out these acetate butterflies too that are in the acetate pack. And I'm just going to put them kind of like pair them up with those 3 butterflies up on the top. There's a yellow one that went with kind of the orangey yellow. There's an orange one with the really dark orange one. And then there's a pink one with the pink one. And so I just went ahead and attached those down with a little bit of glue in an area that you don't really see when you're looking at the page. And now I'm playing around with the wishing bubbles. These are pretty much like enamel dots, but they're more like, almost look like flare. You know how flare has like the clear bubble on top and then there's a picture down on the bottom? This is more like that because they have like pictures of butterflies. Some of them have sayings in it. Some have glitter, all kinds of things. They're really cute. But I kind of mess around with them for a bit because I'm not quite sure how I want to use them. Do I want to use them like I normally use enamel dots, which is like in groups of 3, or do I want to use them more like flare, which is like 1 here and there? So I started off with one of the big ones, and it says love you more. And I put that down on the bottom left-hand side of the photo. And then I stuck one that has a butterfly in it right up there on the top on one of the tags. And now I'm I put down one that's just orange, and it might have some sparkles in it. I can't tell from here. And now I'm kind of trying out to see if I want it to be more like enamel dots, and I decided, no, I don't like that at all. So I took those off and just left that little orange one up by himself. And, you know, I'm just kind of playing around here. I take some out sometimes, and then I put some back. I do end up putting another butterfly one down there by the little wordy bit that says you have my heart. I think that might be the last dot I put up, because now I start looking at the hearts. And so I put that pink and black heart up there on the top, and then a little yellow heart on the yellow tab. And then I take an orange heart and I put that down on that orange circle down on the left-hand side of the bottom part of the photo. So to end everything off, I'm going to add some little black splatters. And I'm using black because I want, you know, there's just like a little bit of black here and there on the photo, in the wings of the butterfly, on those 2 rub-ons that I put on here. There's some black. There's even a little bit of black on the flowers and things, like some subtle stuff. So I wanted to kind of pull that out a bit with just some really subtle black splatters. And I used my tiny paintbrush in order to get tiny splatters. And I think this is it, guys. I think that once I finish that, yep, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you the close-up here in just a second. So I'm glad you all joined me as I painstakingly cut apart a gorgeous piece of 49 in Market paper. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I think it's really cute, and it was really fun to play with this collection, and I'm looking forward to doing some more. I hope y'all enjoyed the video and you pulled some inspiration here today, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye for now.